Gary Shu said, "Are you using a jig?"
No, actually, it turns out I did some testing yesterday. I don't need a jig. I'll show you what in order to do two-sided scoring. It's so no. I did buy some foam board for making a jig, but it turns out I don't need it. And you'll see that I found a use for now the RTSP mode with the OBSBot. So I'm using the OBSBot in the other room to get the camera angle on the Glowforge, and the sound. Okay, good. All right, let's see. Everything's sent out. So this is one of 2 bits of scrap glass that I got. So what have I learned? So I got these glass cutting pliers cheaply from Amazon and used them to clean up the glass here, and using like the pliers to clean up the bits of glass is I mean, not there's an alternative. I can't break them off by hand, but they don't leave very good cuts. So if we look at this guy here, where there was like a peak that was sticking out here, and then I used the pliers and just went and ripped them off. It leaves all kinds of chips and stuff. So even though there was a score there, when tearing off bits of glass with these there's a name for these. I don't remember what it is. With these pliers, what's left over is an edge that still needs to be ground down. And I don't have a motorized glass grinder, and so I have to be in my sink scraping these things with sandpaper, which is pretty annoying. Because like the best quality sandpaper, right, you want like a carbide sandpaper, but that's still like a silicon carbide, and so it's harder than this. Um, um, but glass is pretty hard, and so I deburred these, so I can in theory use them now. But the edges for a lot of these are just not super super awesome. Like this guy. Right, I ripped protrusion off here, and then the crack, it just, it goes where it wants to go, just all the way off the edge, even though it was scored. So it's like, all right, mysterious. And then so not terrible, but not exactly good. And then there's this guy, which is an interesting thing. So this plier has a curve on it. It's designed to be pretty much, you set using the set screw this grip to be about the same thickness as the glass, so that you put very gentle pressure on it in order to encourage a crack to form, that you can kind of go, and then with the center of the curve where the score line is, and then you try to edge the crack along, and it's hard with this glass. The crack will start on the score line, but it has a tendency to wander off wherever it wants to go. So that's a challenge. And so between rehearsals yesterday, I was messing with using the Glowforge to cut, and we can see how this goes. So let me get this piece of glass. You guys need to see my computer now. Maybe this view will work. So let me get this guy over to the Glowforge, and we can check this out. So it turns out that a jig isn't really necessary. The camera and the... I hope you guys can hear me because I have no idea. The camera... Actually, it'd be helpful if someone actually mentioned in the chat whether you can hear me or not. And then I just stick it in here. And the glass is reasonably flat here, so I just push it against the side. And that's good enough. When I flip it over, it forms an accurate edge.
Said.
Okay, good. Because yeah, there's a second mic in here.
Jerry Shoe
This other room.
said, "You're audible."
Okay, and then so I just stick it in here, and then I can cut vertically down this way, and then I can flip the glass over, and it'll be in the exact same spot. So at least for these simple shapes, I don't really need a jig. Let's stick that down here. Close this guy up. And then. Aha! So you guys can see here's the camera and the Glowforge. And then this line thing. So it's funny. It's like the new premium feature. Normally what you need to do is you need to make an SVG of the cut you want. And of course, it's an extremely simple SVG. It's just a single line. But now the new premium feature, which is in beta, which I guess they're going to charge you for later, is I can draw a line right on top. So yeah, I get to use this feature now for free. But in the future, they're going to charge for it. There is some parallax. So you can probably see in the picture of the Glowforge that there's a camera that you can see on the hood, and that camera is in the middle. And so since this piece of glass is way off to the left side, there's parallax, meaning that this is not really the edge of the glass. I think it's in reality somewhere like here-ish. And then I want to cut this 1/2 inch. So I'm going to move this another 1/2 inch to the left. So that's like, instead of 4.45, let's take this down to 3.9. The up-down is reasonably accurate. Except I need to make this cut a little bit longer, since I do want it to overlap the edges. Okay. And then the cut. There's all kinds of weird stuff. So there's a funny video on YouTube. Of a guy who just serious overkill with the glass cutting. No, not this. This is an awesome machine which can cut glass, but I don't have that machine. Where was that video? Not this. Oh, here we go. Cutting and engraving glass with a cheap laser. And so what this guy does is he does this cut and just like real slow. I can look at, right? 40 watts. So my laser is more powerful with this. 20 millimeters per second, which is like super slow because my YouTube is at 2x speed. So this is double speed. And he goes over this like a gazillion times at like high power, low speed, and like melts the crap out of this glass. And then is able to tap it just very gently and breaks it off like this. But that edge is like super gnarly. So the point with glass, and you can see this in the in one of these other laser cut glass that is self-cleaving. Where's a good example of this self-cleaving glass cut with a laser? With Smart Cleave. All right. So this is a laser cutter designed for glass cutting. And what it does is it's marked. Yeah, let's see. We have this. It marks the glass, and then the thermal expansion causes the cleaving to happen automatically. And so the whole thing of like the following the crack, I guess the terminology for that is cleaving, right? You want the glass to follow. I mean, it's natural because glass is amorphous, like Eric was saying, right? It has no crystalline structure, so it's amorphous. But you want it to follow that the cut line and cleave along that stress. You don't want to use the laser to melt the heck out of the glass. So you can see this in this other video, right? They wait, and then suddenly, like magic, it breaks off. And of course, I don't have this kind of laser. Apparently, like this is the same kind of CO2 laser as the Glowforge, but it has a different pulse frequency. So all of these lasers, they're pulsed, and I remember because some of the lasers at Tech Shop, in addition to controlling the epilogue lasers, in addition to controlling power and speed, you also control frequency. And frequency was one of those just like real mysterious things. Like power and speed, you can kind of understand that it has to do like, okay, thermal buildup and how powerful the laser is versus how fast you go over the cut. But frequency is one of those like really mysterious like absorption spectra things where it's like you just have to look it up in the documentation, given material, what the right frequency is. Because without a bunch of background in materials that I don't have, there's no way to really guess. And the Glowforge doesn't seem to actually have a frequency control. Like it must have a frequency, but I don't know. But I guess you don't have control over it. And the magic of that glass cutting laser cutter has to do with the frequency. But barring that, I'm not looking to have the laser generate a cut that magically cleaves itself. The goal is to score it and then figure out a way for me to cleave it using tools and techniques mechanically. So I've got the cut line here, and I was messing with this. And for now, let's just go for, whoa. I'm not quite sure what this full max power is. I guess I'll try it. So I was trying different things yesterday, and it seems like speed really makes a difference. Speed seems to generate a finer, cleaner cut rather than going slower with less power, faster with more power. I'm not sure what the full is. I mean, it is true that I have the higher end version of the Glowforge, so maybe this is 100 on a 40 watt scale and this is 60 watts. I don't know. Let's first try it at 100%. Focus height, I measured this as 0.088 inches. And then this is the cut line. And I need to set the material to 0.088. And then we hit the button. And then there's a mysterious part here.
Glowforge 100 is calibrated for different models. Full is the full power of your kit. Jerry Shu said, of your model.
So what does that mean? That is 100 the same no matter what Glowforge you have, and then full is according to the model, or is 100 different depending on which model you have? I mean, there's only 2 models. Okay. Push the button on your Glowforge to begin. All right, let's fine, this is okay. You guys can watch this.
Jerry Shu said, yeah, 100 is the same for all models.
I see. Okay. So then we can see. I'll go and push the button. Fortunately, out of the different things I could be cutting, glass is pretty much the least stinky. Acrylic is stinky. Wood is real smoky. Alright, so let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it's not bad. I will flip this over. Put this here. And then go back and set up the other side. Okay. And then we'll see, you can see the parallax. All right, so you can see now the previous cut line over here, and I don't want to move this line to the previous cut line. I know that this is relative to the left end. So all I'm going to do is shift this to match, and then print this again. And then I'm not quite sure what it's doing here when it's going auto-focusing on your material, because I entered everything in manually. More important, like the autofocus doesn't work on something like glass. And so it's not like I'm having really inconsistent results between cuts, but I'm always suspicious. It's like, what is it doing? Okay. Workbench only. There we go. Let's zoom in. Okay. So we'll say that, yeah, it's exactly on the dot.
Jerry Shu said, I think the autofocus is just the normal part of the procedure. I've heard that it may continually adjust focus during cutting to account for possibly warped materials. Not sure if that's really true.
Yeah, I don't know. So far though, it's I had another piece the same size, and I was messing with this yesterday. So whatever the autofocus does, fortunately, it at least does the same thing on glass every single time. I'm because I'm extremely skeptical that it can actually autofocus on this surface. Um, but yeah, so the two lines are directly over each other, so I've scored it twice. So this first one I know is going to get messed up. So how do you use the glass thing, which I could not get working yesterday? You clamp it, you hold the glass on, hold the glass with it, and then you set the set screw so that you can't push down any further. And then you turn the set screw back a small amount. And some people said like a quarter turn on some glass instruction videos, and it just doesn't seem to work. And then you align the glass so that the cut is right in the middle, and then you squeeze. And it's supposed to go click. And then magically in the videos, the whole piece falls off. And whenever I do it, it ends up like this, where it doesn't go into, it doesn't cross over the score line, but inevitably it leaves like some bit like this, right? It runs along the line. At some point, it decides, don't want to go that way anymore. And then so whatever, this piece is scrap. And of course, this is useless because if I wanted to cut pieces like this off the edge, I mean, pretty much as I work my way down, every piece would be scrap. Like this guy is scrap, right? My point is not to cut this guy. My point is I want this. And so this is not scrap. Um, and then I have to like get rid of this thing, and then I have which involves gripping this and then kind of pulling it and twisting it. And whenever I do that, when glass shards go everywhere, and so I'm this guy. Anyway, I'm not going to use that because I don't want glass shards here. Yesterday, I did this in the sink. I wet everything down so that it wouldn't be so stuff wouldn't fly away as far, but it's messy. So the other thing that some people do, which I didn't try yesterday, is you put this on a soft surface, and then you can kind of push along the track, and then and apparently the key thing for this tapping thing. All right, so sadly, tapping made the crack wanted to go its own way. Where do you see this? So you see, I made the crack, and it went that way. Um, so one of the things about tapping is that you apparently want something flexible behind it. Like they use these felt pads and their stuff. Right, this is terrible. I have my shards in my cloth now, and this went all over this way, and I got the super start sticking off, so that didn't work super well. So the goal today is like this is better than when I was scoring by hand, but still, uh, not good. Um, not good. Uh, whoops. So what next to try? What next to try is maybe I could try to score this more deeply without going it so deep that it creates this crappy melty edge like in the other video. Like maybe let's go back to computer view here. Yo, where did the... Where did my obsbot go? Oh, I know why. There we go. Okay. Maybe I can try full power. Is. So let's take this guy, move it another ½ inch, 3.8 to 3.3.
Jerry Shu said, wear your laser safety glasses.
It didn't come with laser safety glasses. Not with in the Glowforge Pro, because the flip open thing is screwed shut by default. They don't ship laser safety glasses with it anymore. I thought that they were going to. So when I got it, I thought, hey, where are the safety glasses? And I opened support, and they said, no. It's that we used to ship safety glasses before the pass-through door was screwed in place. Now that the pass-through door is screwed in place, then the device qualifies at a whatever class device that's safe, and so they don't ship the safety glasses with it anymore. All right, full power. There's no. If 100 is 40 watts, and I think I have 60 watts. Can't choose in between them. It's just like full power. Okay. All of this is still set. Move that. Let's print. Am I in the right view? Yes, I'm in the right view. Auto-focusing. There we go. At first, the whole running back and forth from the other room back to this room, I thought, what if I just bring a computer over there? But it turns out it takes a while for this camera to update for me to align anyway. And I'm actually back in my seat by the time before the camera updates. So other than getting a little more exercise, there's not much time savings in doing it all over there.
Jerry Shoe said, I think someone made a robot to let you push the button remotely.
Okay. Now, which snapping technique should I use? Should I try these guys again? Or should I try... Whoa! Ah! So, that was pretty easy to initiate. But yet again, the crack goes where the crack wants to go. And this cut is not bad. You can see here that it's shiny enough that I still only burned up the surface. It's mostly a cleaved... It's mostly a cleaved line here, because you can see how shiny that is. But it's like, all right, just goes where it wants to go. And then can I... I got rid of a little bit more. Whatever, that's not happening. So maybe come back and maybe do like a tap, 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 tap lightly down the line. Try to make a fracture that maybe I can't see before pushing
Jerry
down.
Shoe said, have you considered leaving buffer between panes?
Oh, like meaning make two cuts and try to do every other one. So like make two cuts, snap off a piece of two, and then assume that one of them is going to get busted up. Because eventually what I would want to get to is being able to make all the cuts at once, right? Cut around and then take them all here and just snap them off one after another. All right, that would be the dream.
Jerry Shoe said, yeah?
They do use that technique for making really thin glass pieces. There's this one guy who cut off like little like 1/4 inch strips. And the way he did the 1/4 inch strips was to break off every other one with the pliers, and then I can't remember what he did for each of the individual double-sized pieces. Maybe he used a tapper or something. I guess, what, then in theory we could do this technique that would put stress along more parts and then get to... Could try that. Let me put this back in place. So this is now, take this 1/2 inch, 2.8. And then what, can I copy? Yes, I can. Let's see, this is absolute, right? So 2.8. Then I'll take that another 1/2 inch to 2.3. Okay, and I guess full power is fine. It's interesting I can't do more than 3 passes. If I do more than 3 passes, then I end up needing to do like a duplication. I wonder. Let me try something else at the same time. So let's put this at 2.8 right over the other one. So I'll do 6 passes on each cut. 2.3. So I admit, I mean, drawing directly on top is pretty convenient. I don't know if I'd pay monthly for the ability to draw directly on top, though. Is there alignment here? Flip horizontal, flip vertical, create outline. No. All right. So we'll do double, and then we're taking 6 lines, 6 passes. It's just not super awesome. But it's hard to tell exactly how much got melted until after I break it. All right. Ah. Two 2.3, 2.8. Whew. Okay. The glass is noticeably warm. I mean, probably because I did 2 cuts. So 12 passes each. Ah! Well. You guys didn't see that. Sad. This cut really didn't go where I wanted it to go. And this guy? It's interesting. It's planned either. This feels like it's so close. Well, okay, so this one it really like a little bit, and then I ran over. But you can see there's definitely a crack here. Started down here, and then that crack just didn't continue. So the crack is like it started here, and then it's like, I don't want to go any further. And then whoosh. That didn't shatter all over the place. When I pulled, it went where I wanted to go. So that was a very clean break. It just didn't follow the line. Now this break, like just being able to pull gently and then creating the break, that's kind of like how the YouTube videos of the pro glass people do it. Except the pro glass people, when they do the pull, it follows the line. When I do it, it doesn't follow the line. Hmm. Hmm. Let me go back to making just one cut and then trying to do a little bit more tapping. I don't know where I'm going to cut this from. Okay, let me get rid of this. We put this where I think the glass starts, which is like 2.1 basically. Then take half an inch off, so that'll be 1.6. And let's try this not at full power, just at 100%, and let's still do 6 passes. Whoops. Autofocus. There we go. Oh. Whoops. Interesting. There is some cleaving that started on both ends. I can kind of see. I can kind of see. Yeah, you can see this on camera too, right? There's a little bit of cleaving here and over here. So can I like this one a little bit. Maybe. Maybe I did lengthen this a little bit. This guy doesn't seem to be making much progress. You want to follow the line. So on this side, it's going that way. Um, no. Now this one, curving up this way. It's like this section. And then it came back. So this is not bad. It's not good. But it's not bad. This may be the least bad cut so far. With just with just a little bit here sticking up that I would have to break off. And then can I not easy. All right, that's the least bad so far. This edge is not terrible. Well, I still have more glass, so let's try another cut. Okay, let's see. So that guy's over here. Take this from 1.6 to 1.1. Move it up. Do I want to try more passes? 3 more passes? (1.1 by 2.017). Let's say just 1.1, 1.1 by 2. Let's put all of them there. 1.1 by 2. 1.1 by 2. 1.1 by 2. Okay, so that's 9 passes, 500 full. Whoops. Nine passes, 1.1 full power. Auto-focusing. Come on, auto-focusing. There we go. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Does that not seem right? Let's move this a little bit higher. All right. So you can see here that there's it's a bit of a cleave line here, then it kind of goes away here. There's a cleave line here too. What I want is I kind of want to edge up here, here, and get them all towards the center. Whoops. Well, that's no good. I wanted to go that way. Nope. This guy also. Right around that section where there wasn't a clear cleave line underneath, on both sides, they wanted to go up. And this is what I was seeing with the breaking pliers too, that it'll follow the cut up to a point and then goes where it wants to go. And then they joined up, but at the wrong place, leaving a piece of scrap. I get rid of this bit. Yes. And it was reasonably clean too. That was about as good as a break as I could have hoped for. Except of course this guy is scrap. What is the problem? What is the problem? All right. Oof. Let's put this back. I got one more cut. Okay. And let's take one of these. Let's make it shorter. Instead of 3 inches, let's say only 2 inches. So we're taking 6 end to end and 3 only in the center. All right. The glass cracked on its own. Interesting. So, oh, the crack's getting bigger. While sitting there and waiting, the glass cracked on its own. So there was already a cleave line that formed down here and then up here when I cut the first side. And then while I was setting up the second side, a crack formed right at the end of where the cleave was and went up this way. And it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger on its own. So let's see. I'll use this guy. Interesting. Whoa. Well, it really didn't want to go through here. Hmm. I get the feeling, though. I almost feel like because when I do the lasering, a cleave forms on its own due to thermal effects or whatever. Actually, I have no idea why. Um, Probably like almost 50% of the way down. Right. Sometimes it's like you get almost halfway on one side, right, and then only like 20% of the way on the other side, or whatever, right? And that cleave which forms, other than this, even including this last time, even though there a bit of an extra crack formed, it generally follows the cut line. But as you get to the middle of the glass, then things start to get wacky. I'm wondering if there's a way to pattern the cut to make that natural cleaving more favorable. This is going to be a rabbit hole. Because I'm betting there is. And not only am I betting there is, it's probably already documented in papers. Because we know from those glass cutting, dedicated glass cutting lasers, that with a CO2 laser, with control of the frequencies, it is possible to very reliably create a self-cleaving cut. And the only reason why that would be so reliable is if the mechanism of action, the mechanism by which self-cleaving occurs, is well documented, is well published. And that means if I dove into those papers and understood this mechanism more, then there might be a way to encourage that behavior through the patterns. But that involves a lot of research because this is not an area of engineering that I'm well studied in. Um, this is not an area of engineering that I'm studied in at all. Um, but that was just super interesting, right? I make where the hell is that piece? Right, I made the cut, and then as the piece of glass sat there, the crack propagated down the cut line and then off. Exactly like that video. of the glass cutting laser, except in the professional glass cutting laser, the crack didn't veer off under its own volition. It stayed along the cut line. All right, well, I think I'm going to have some reading to do. That's it for today.